Welcome to Roadmap 2019, where we talk to major political stakeholders in the journey to the 2019 elections. I am Ladi Akeredoluale. Thanks for joining us. On today's program, my guest is one of the most prominent members of the National Assembly. As he says, he is a Buharist. He is a firm believer in and supporter of President Muhammadu Buhari. He says the gale of defections from the ruling APC will have little or no effect on the president's re-election chances next year. He describes the APC Parliamentary Support Group, which he leads, as a team of loyalists focused on ensuring victory for the APC in 2019. Now, please join us as we speak to the convener of the APC Parliamentary Support Group and former chairman of the House of Reps Committees on Appropriation and Finance, Dr. Abdul Momin Jibrin. Dr. Jibrin, thank you for your time. Welcome to Roadmap 2019.
Thank you very much, Ladi. It's my pleasure.
Now, I don't know where to begin for the first time in a long time because so much is happening. The speaker in your home state was impeached. The old speaker, who was previously impeached, is now back. The same thing has happened in Benue, although there's contention over that as we speak. In Imo State, the deputy governor has also been impeached. Now, the three states I've mentioned are APC states, really. What's going on? Especially when this comes back to back with the defections gale that happened in the National Assembly. What's going on? So many people are worried. What's happening?
I am sure you will agree with me if you go back into history, particularly in this country, that all the things that are happening now, it's not new, especially when it comes to election year, general election year, build up to general election year. A lot of activities goes on in our parties, interchange of political forces, decamping here and there. And I think people are only making too much emphasis or focusing their attention on APC. Other parties are also facing their own challenges. And I am pretty sure that things will get to a point of equilibrium and we'll start seeing some balance.
Okay, let me take that and bring you straight to the National Assembly where you are and where you are the convener of the Parliamentary Support Group, the APC Parliamentary Support Group.
Yes.
Now, people have asked the question, why would you want a Parliamentary Support Group when the APC already has both a House caucus and a Senate caucus? Why?
It's just like saying, why will a party, under normal circumstances, if it hadn't gotten an understanding to present a candidate, why will the party not commence campaigning for a particular candidate until after the primaries? The APC caucus is a general caucus comprising of all members. And when it comes to the issue of the president, it's not everybody, then, not now, it's not everybody that supports the president. And of course, you've seen what has happened in the National Assembly, or specifically in the House of Representatives in the last 3 years. The president has been at the receiving end. And we actually thought it is important for us to put ourselves together and see how we can continue to identify with him and help where we can to explain his policies and also ensure that whatever he brings to the National Assembly seals through without any rancor or any difficulty.
So basically the Parliamentary
the point I'm trying to
Group
make,
is a group consisting of members who support
President Buhari. Now, not until recently, you will agree that some members of the APC are not with the president, and some have even decamped. And so you can understand it might be, or it will look unfair for you to insist or to hijack the APC caucus to use it for the interest of the president until we're able to sift the membership and ensure that everybody is fully with the president. So it is important, even after the election, for us to maintain that goal. We've started it now, and hopefully it will go on to the 9th assembly, because again, we don't want to take chances. It is important to ensure that even after the president wins the next election in 2019, he continues to get the kind of support that he will need at the level of the National Assembly until 2023.
Now, do you agree with the APC national chairman when he says all these people who are defecting, they are either mercenaries, they have very little electoral value, they were not in the APC fully anyway, and therefore they won't be missed? It's more like good riddance to bad rubbish.
Well, I will not say they do not have either electoral value or political value. You know, there are two values in politics. You have somebody who has electoral value. That's somebody like President Muhammadu Buhari. And you can also have those who have political value. That's somebody who has the capacity to mobilize the people, reach out, network, mobilize resources, reach out to the media and the rest. So everybody in politics has his own value. I don't want to particularly say they do not have value. But the point that I have made consistently, and I will continue to make, and I know that by the grace of God, that is what will turn out to be the reality, is that whatever value they carry or whatever value they have, whether political value or electoral value, is not going to affect the chances of Mr. President and the chances of APC in the next coming election. President Muhammadu Buhari will win the 2019 presidential election.
Many people hearing you say this will want to look back and say that around this time, maybe in a different electoral circle, but around this time, quite a number of people too, including yourself, moved from the then PDP into APC. And that, with a few exceptions here and there, many of those who moved are now moving back, which would presuppose that there's a problem. In recognition of this problem, there have been attempts to solve some of this, even ahead of the party congresses that took place earlier this year, and which many say led this to a head. By some accounts, up to 24 states had parallel congresses. And many of those who moved cited those congresses as part of the reasons. Some of them felt shut out, some felt marginalized, some felt they were cheated. Now, whether or not this was true, the party recognized that there was a problem. Even the president who you support recognized there was a problem, which was why he set up the Reconciliation Committee headed by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But that committee seems to have not been able to achieve anything. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this. What's going on?
On the aspect of people, the crises as a result of the Congress, grievances of which I know that you are referring to, yes. Some of our colleagues who tried to revive the defunct nPDP, essentially. Yes. I know that is where you're focusing your attention to. I do believe that for one or two, or quite a few number of them, might have some genuine issues that we can look at it and resolve. But my position has always been that we have not been marginalized. Now,
you were in the NDP.
Yes, of course.
NPDP.
I was in the nPDP, and I can tell you that we've not been marginalized. We were part and parcel of the entire journey of the nPDP. From the angle of the National Assembly, I was one of the leaders that led 37 members to leave the then PDP. Myself, the current speaker of Kwara State, Dr. Ali Ahmed, Zakari Mohammed, Honorable Kumo, Honorable Binta, and a couple of us. In my own house, we had the first meeting. And we made a huge sacrifice to that group. Now, after the election, what happened? Deliberately or not, a member of the nPDP became defunct nPDP became Senate President. A member of the defunct nPDP became Speaker. A lot of us became governors. Governor Ganduje, Governor Tambuwal, Governor Bindo, Abdul Fattah, and the rest. Some of us that went to the National Assembly we are opportune to have so many, as a result of that group, had so many appointments dashed out to us. And it is by the grace of God and by the grace of the APC as
a party.
And so, how can somebody come out from the blues and say he's been marginalized? So I do not agree with that. And now you have two sets of people. There are those who have genuine grievances, and if they do have genuine grievances, I tell you this, they stay in the party. And issues are being resolved. But when you see somebody is telling you, I want to go to Lagos, but his direction is Kano. But he's telling you that I'm going to Lagos and he's headed towards Kano, then you know that something is wrong. So someone is headed out, going out of the party. Everything he's doing is showing towards that direction. Yet again, he's telling you that, no, I am aggrieved. When they are calling him, come sit down and talk, he does not respond. Or otherwise, even after such conversation, they do something different. So the point that I want to make here is that, which I have already said, and it's in the public, let's be honest to ourselves. APC has been fair to most of us. Not everybody will get what he wants. And the leadership of the party, and of course the president himself, he is not a perfectionist. He is not an angel. So we should not look at the president from the context or from the image of somebody who is an angel. So he will be able to do as much as he can.